So, you finally reach the center of the galaxy. You make the jump, the animation is so long, but it's your first time and you're excited. The game asks you to initialize. Wait, what? Yeah, going through the core is basically initializing a new reality. And when you wake up on a new world, every single piece of technology in your exosuit, your starship, and your multi-tool is damaged. You drop to your knees in disbelief, realizing you have to spend the next 5 hours repairing everything. But wait, it absolutely does not have to be this way. GoodGuysFree here, and today I'm going to show you all the ways to hop to other galaxies, starting with how to minimize the damage when you simply go through the core and a few methods for zero damage hopping. This is a refresh of my previous guide, completely updated, so let's get started. Before we continue, I want to say a quick thanks to my channel members and Discord staff and volunteers. You guys are amazing, thank you. Okay, moving on. Chapter 1, the burner method, reaching the core. First, we need to actually get to the core. We're going to use a portal trick to get us just a few thousand light years from the center, followed by a few more warp jumps to reach a gateway system. A gateway system is one that has an extra direction you can pick to warp to that says select star. And not just select star, but on the line towards the core where there is no star. Believe it or not, back in the early days, navigating this map was an absolute nightmare of blind jumps and something players called black hole roulette. If you want to hear that whole crazy history, I made a full documentary style video about it called The History of Galactic Navigation. Check out this video on your screen. It will also teach you what the glyphs mean. Thankfully today we have portals, so let me show you the exact address you need to dial. Simply enter the very first glyph, the sunset glyph, 12 times in a row. The portal will flash an Atlas transport error and approximate your destination. Step through and you will be deposited roughly 5,000 light years from the galactic core. If you have a freighter, summon it. We're going to need its long-range hyperdrive capabilities to reach a gateway system fast. If you don't, switch to the ship with the best hyperdrive you have to reduce the number of jumps. If you don't have the first glyph yet, look for one of these guys on a space station. They are travelers. Interact with them twice. On the second time, they will offer you the option to ask them where they came from, and that will send you to a nearby planet to find their grave. Interact with the grave to obtain the first glyph. By the way, I have a video on how to find portals and how to obtain all the glyphs. The link is on your screen and you are seeing the video's thumbnail. I am working on a refresh, so if it was already released by the time you are watching this, the link is updated even if the thumbnail is still the older one. Fly to space and open the galaxy map. Use the controls to select a mission until you see this galactic core. Follow the line to the furthest point your freighter or ship is capable of and warp. When you arrive, immediately open the galaxy map again and repeat the process, but every time you open the galaxy map, use the controls to see if you are close to the core, and if yes, try to select nearby stars until you see select star. If you see it, you've arrived, and it's time to move to the next phase. Chapter 2, the burner method, preparations. The secret to safe galaxy hopping is the burner strategy. We are going to use a throwaway ship and a throwaway multi-tool to absorb all the damage for us. But wait, it's not like a burner phone, because if you plan to keep hopping, we'll actually keep the ship and multi-tool for the next hop. So throwaway is probably the wrong term here. And for all those who say, just switch to creative mode, you can say that about everything, but we're here to show how to do this for those who don't want to game the system, alright? Plus, it won't save your tech from the damage. I'll explain shortly. Okay, to do this, we assume you have a spare starship slot. If your fleet is currently full, you don't have to scrap anything. You can simply archive one of your ships in your freighter's cold storage to free up space. If you don't have a freighter yet, it is highly recommended you get one before attempting a core jump, or you could scrap one of your ships. We also assume that you have a spare multi-tool slot. Again, if you are maxed out, you can just build a weapons rack at one of your bases, preferably on your freighter base, which will allow you to archive a multi-tool and free up a slot. Now let's go through the steps. First, head to the space station to find a burner ship. We want the cheapest ship you can find. Doesn't matter what type of ship. You will only make one jump with this ship. Next, buy a burner multi-tool. Just grab the cheapest C-class available. As a quick reminder, the space stations actually have 2 multi-tool cabinets you can check, one at the front by the vendor and one tucked away in the back. When you buy a new tool, it gets equipped automatically. Do not install anything in the new tool. As a reminder, you can teleport to your freighter from the station if you need to archive a ship, or use the weapons rack to archive a multi-tool and teleport back. If you don't have a freighter, you'll need to find a solution if you don't have a spare starship slot, but you can still teleport to one of your bases where you have the weapons rack installed and archive one of your tools if you need a spare slot. Finally, let's secure your exosuit technology since you can't really switch to a burner suit, right? Open your inventory and use the Store Technology control to package up every single piece of technology you possibly can. We don't have a way to package the core jetpack, hazard protection, and life support, but at least it will require minimal effort to fix them. Don't worry, the life support tech module will not get damaged. It's just about the only thing that won't get damaged. There was a time in the past when technology stored in supercharged slots would not get damaged, but alas, this is no longer the case. I highly recommend clearing out a specific block of your exosuit's cargo inventory first. This way you can arrange the stored tech modules in the same exact layout they were installed in your suit. When you wake up in the new Galaxy, you'll be able to reinstall them in the perfect order for adjacency bonuses quickly and easily. Chapter 3. The Burner Method, Making the Jump. Before we jump, I want you to take a look around at the stars. Jumping to a new galaxy is going to give you a whole new galaxy to explore. And if this is your first time, you will be leaving Euclid and arriving at Hilbert Dimension. In the distant past, jumping to a new galaxy meant leaving everything behind. You could not get back to your bases. They were all gone. But today, you can teleport back and forth between the galaxies with ease. Fun anecdote. Speaking of new galaxies, did you know that the names of the first 5 galaxies in the game, like Euclid, Hilbert, and Calypso, aren't actually random? They were hand-picked by the developers, but years ago, a strange bug temporarily exposed the procedural random names. See the description for a link to a Reddit post about those. Alright, it's time to jump. Open your inventory and verify that your tech is fully packaged, that your current ship is the burner ship. You could rename it if you wish. That your current multi-tool is the burner tool. You could rename it too. To cross the threshold into the next galaxy, your burner ship's hyperdrive must be charged to exactly 100%. So make sure this is the case. Fly your burner ship into space and open the galaxy map. In the galaxy map, make sure you have galactic core destination path selected. Do not use free look mode. Follow the solid line pointing to the center until you see Select Star. Hold your warp button until the circle fills and the screen shifts to the actual core. Hold the warp button again until it fills and launch yourself into the unknown. Before we move on to what happens when you arrive, there is an alternative way to hop galaxies that follows these exact same rules, but it's a spoiler. So if you're a new player, I recommend you pause the video and use the chapters to skip to chapter 4. I'll wait for 5 seconds now. Okay, when you complete the main Artemis storyline, specifically the Purge, the game gives you all 16 glyphs and eventually allows you to reset the simulation. You will walk past the Atlas to select a colored orb, which allows you to choose a new type of galaxy to spawn in. Cyan Teal Orb, Normal Galaxy, transports you to Hilbert Dimension, Galaxy number 2. Red Orb, Harsh Galaxy, transports you to Galaxy number 3, Calypso. Blue Orb, Empty Galaxy, transports you to Budulanger, Galaxy number 7. Green Orb, Lush Galaxy, transports you to Galaxy number 10, Isentam. However, you need to know that resetting the simulation acts exactly the same as going through the galactic core. Every single piece of technology will be damaged. Therefore, it is highly recommended to use the exact same burner preparations. Package your suit tech and switch to your burner ship and burner multi-tool. When you get the Final Interface Portal marker on your screen, instead of landing on the planet, go to the space station and begin the same preparations. Buy a quote-unquote burner ship and multi-tool and package your tech as I explained before. If you already bought the ship and multi-tool, make sure you switch to them and package your tech before you activate the Final Interface Portal. Chapter 4. A New Galaxy Awaits. When you wake up on your new planet, your burner ship and burner multi-tool will be completely trashed, as will the hazard protection and jetpack on your suit. And that is perfectly fine because they did their job. Immediately summon your good main ship, which will be completely undamaged. switch your primary multi-tool back to your fully functional one and enter your good ship. Then simply unpack your exosuit technology from your cargo slots and reinstall it. Repair the 2 damaged components and you are back at full power in under 2 minutes. You can summon your freighter if you need access to materials you stored in its inventory. Yeah, your freighter isn't damaged by the core jump, and no, it doesn't matter if you use the freighter to jump through the core. Your current ship will get damaged, not the freighter. Your suit and current multi-tool as well. And for those who say just use creative mode, it won't help either. Your multi-tool, ship and suit will be damaged and your freighter will not, even in creative mode and regardless of whether you use your ship or your freighter to jump. If you don't plan to do another hop anytime soon, you can scrap the ship at a space station, but you might need to repair it first. And you can permanently decommission and destroy the multi-tool at the multi-tool salvage terminal located right next to Iteration Tethys in the space anomaly. Finally, do not forget to drop a base computer on a planet in this new galaxy. This locks the galaxy into your teleporter network, so you can travel back and forth between here and Euclid anytime you want. And yeah, teleporters, not portals, can easily go to other galaxies. Chapter 5: Zero Damage Methods. Lastly, we need to talk about the other methods to hop galaxies that bypass the core completely, resulting in absolute zero damage. Method 1. The Taxi. This method requires a friend. If you have a friend who is already in another galaxy, you can simply join their multiplayer session. Once you load into their system, drop a base computer to lock it into your teleporter network. My Discord server actually offers a taxi service to various galaxies if you need a lift. You can find the Discord invite link in the description, but there are other methods to get a lift like the Pangalactic Star Cabs. Method 2. The Space Anomaly Teleporter. This is an option that sometimes works. Head to the massive teleporter inside the Space Anomaly and look at the community highlight bases. Sometimes these featured bases are located in Isentam or other galaxies. Just warp to the base, fly up to space and open your galaxy map to check where you are. If you're in a new galaxy, fly to a nearby planet and place your own base computer. This method is great, but unfortunately Hello Games rarely updates these bases, and sometimes all of them are stuck in Euclid. Sometimes you can even teleport to other player bases, and they can also be in other galaxies, and that's both of them. If there are other methods to minimize the damage, or reach the core more quickly, let us know. There used to be a method to make the game spawn you close to the core of the next galaxy when you core jump, but I wasn't able to repeat it in my latest attempts, so I didn't include it here. If this guide helped you out, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And now that you know how to travel, if you want to learn the dark history of what it took for the community to actually map this universe, click the video on your screen right now to watch the history of galactic navigation. GoodGuysFree here, and I'll see you again soon.